Passive income, the holy grail of personal finance. We're talking about the possibility of making money passively. It doesn't actually get any better than that, does it? You'll see video after video and advertisement after advertisement promoting the idea that, like millionaires, you should have 7 different sources of income. One issue remains though. Passive income doesn't exist. Well, up until a point. There are of course ways to make money that are different from the typical 9-to-5 job where the ratio between time worked and pay is quite linear. However, the vast majority of these allegedly passive income solutions that you see promoted online, particularly on YouTube, are the best inaccurate and at worst wholly made up to prey on the desperate for money. Not to argue, however, that some of these tactics are without merit. We just don't like the phrase passive income. So there. Over time, some of these services might bring in money for you, but the ones that seem too good to be true, whether you essentially don't have to put any effort, often have a higher likelihood of costing you money in fees and registration fees just to try them. With that being said, let's examine the reasons why passive income isn't all that promising, but is nonetheless a topic that keeps coming up. Hey, welcome to Stock Market Mate. Before we get into it, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to help us beat the YouTube algorithm. If you're done with that, then let's get right into it. A source of revenue that is only partially self-sustaining is typically referred to as passive income. Once it's set up, you won't necessarily need to be involved, giving you more time to spend lounging by the pool, playing video games, or doing anything else you choose. There isn't really such a thing as passive income, at least not in the strictest sense, unless you win the lottery or inherit wealth. When individuals talk about passive income, they actually mean either investment income or entrepreneurial income. These strategies, while not necessarily bad, do alter how your effort is acknowledged. However, they do remove the need for effort, and there is a very simple explanation for why anything that promises a great payoff with little effort is typically a gimmick. But first, let's describe these 2 sources of revenue. Starting with investment income, which is the concept of owning assets, whether they be stocks, bonds, or rental properties, that produce some type of return. As an investment channel, we clearly have no issue with people profiting from their investments, although it comes with a very sizable disclaimer as a passive income technique. To buy such assets that provide income, you must first have the necessary funds. Actually, it's not typically emphasized that 4 of those strategies, dividends, rental income, interest, and capital gains income, require money in the first place to reach a significant amount of it. This is when people talk about billionaires having 7 various sources of income, according to an IRS report from 2002. If you were to replace your yearly active pay of $42,000, which is roughly the typical personal income in the US, and you could consistently obtain a return on your investment of 7%. For example, you would need to amass $600,000 in net savings, which is a difficult outset for doing passive income. Here are some methods, though, that we've encountered that actually claim to generate that passive income for you without requiring any initial investment or work. These are nothing like those courses that claim to teach you how to start building a real estate empire by putting 5% down on several different properties when you're first starting out. Investment bots that use proprietary software to grow whatever you have faster than the market, or investment bots that take whatever you have and grow it faster than the market. The issue with the things we've mentioned is that you never get a clear sense of the risk-reward trade-off you face with these items. It is foolish to put into practice ideas like the one that suggests someone should use all their resources to pay the down payment on a rental property. It's lousy financial advice because, despite the fact that real estate, on average, is a strong investment category and a legitimate way to accumulate wealth, it also has significant unanticipated costs and dangers due to the rental income and appreciation. Another possibility is that your payments will go up, as many people are sadly realizing as interest rates climb. Therefore, it is obvious that if you don't have a cash reserve to help cover these unforeseen expenses or a few months' worth of unpaid rent, it may be enough to bring down any poorly managed business. As for trading bots, they don't work. Trading robots are ineffective. We don't care which YouTuber claimed to have made how much money in the previous month. It's complete survivorship bias, and given the odds, it could just as easily be promoting a roulette wheel. You can see why it bothers us when individuals highlight the passive nature of investment income this way. Yes, if you reach a point when you have enough money, it can be a really effective instrument for releasing your schedule if you decide to rely on that kind of income. However, it necessitates greater savings from actively created money than the average person would probably ever imagine. Online advertisements for certain ventures claim to allow you to create up some valuable content and put it online. It's possible to sell it and continue to profit from it over time, and that tactic has some basis in reality. The concept is that, in order to reach the point where you have something valuable, you frequently still need to put up a lot of effort, among other things. It doesn't require the same type of maintenance as a typical firm. The claim that some of these tactics will yield big returns with little work is untrue, and there is a very simple explanation for this. Take dropshipping as an example. Dropshipping's fundamental premise is that you create an online storefront where you sell goods produced and transported by a third party in order to profit from a markup without having to handle any logistics. A basic setup with a web domain or online storefront can be completed in a matter of hours and probably cost less than $500. Maybe even cheaper if you sell your goods on websites like Amazon or through services like Teespring, where you can create your own t-shirts and sell them online. After that, everything will be mostly automated for you, so you won't need to stock any shelves or work at a cash register to make any type of sale. But what is the drawback of this low effort and low cost tactic then? Ironically, thousands of people will likely be doing the same thing because it is so simple for one person to open up a store and dropship something as unusual as a nice coffee mug. When there are probably 10 people who truly desire this stuff, it is possible that the exact same commodity will provide an unending supply of novelty. But why do some people use these tactics successfully? Why do we have many examples of Jimmy earning $10,000 a week because he enrolled in So and YouTube So's course? First off, we want to make it clear that the majority of the case examples used in these advertisements are highly biased and shouldn't be trusted. Those who choose to highlight individual success stories, rather than highlighting the success rate of their strategy on a broad, statistical scale, likely have thousands of other students who struggle to break even when using their strategy. Even said, some people do occasionally succeed financially with their business endeavors. However, there are typically two explanations for why it occasionally proves to be helpful. In the beginning, mover advantage and dropshippers probably did make a good amount of money with their low-effort storefronts at a time when online stores weren't as common. But returns from these ventures quickly diminish over time as more and more people take advantage of it, leading to that oversupply situation that quickly eliminates the opportunity for everyone else. It's fundamental arbitrage. Even those that profit from this venture are unlikely to see consistent cash flow. Successful dropshipping businesses, for instance, may generate income for several months or even a full year. But if it's really left to its own devices, the activity will gradually slow down. You can thus assume that the chance is likely long past by the time you see an advertisement for a course that someone spent a few months creating after testing a passive income approach themselves and obtaining 3 other success stories to support it. Now, as you can surely assume, luck is the second necessary ingredient for success with these internet techniques. We would love to state that there is a surefire way to achieve this position as someone who makes money on YouTube, but we don't think there is because there are over 720,000 hours of content produced every day on YouTube alone, and roughly 90 of those will never exceed the 1,000 view threshold. Then if luck plays a part in any entrepreneurial endeavors, you might make a little cash. The same is true for online courses, ebooks, blogs, and any other digital product where you're competing to stay afloat in a sea of content creators. Finally, passive income suggests receiving something for nothing. Just relax and do nothing except watch the money come in. It is passive after all, isn't it? Sorry, the corporate world doesn't have such a thing. The best approach is to build into your strategy the upfront expenses, time lag, and ongoing work necessary in relation to the income generated. You must account for the absence of cash flow while you pay the upfront expenses. You must get this stuff right if you want to succeed. Yes, working smarter rather than harder is an option, but you can't fully rely on something such as a passive investment. Well, that's about it for today's video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. If you found this video helpful, kindly click the like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to want to watch one of these 2 videos right here. Enjoy!